What's good, guys? So today I'm going to be showing you how I do my flash kick. Just a quick little disclaimer, the way I do my flash kick is not the traditional kind of tricking way. I do mine more of a back aerial, but you can for sure, they're kind of the same techniques. One's just longer than the other. So you can definitely change this and modify it how you want to. It's similar all throughout, but yeah. So the three prereqs I would say are the best you need to have for the skill would be a standing back tuck for sure, like you need to have that. There's no way around that one. A back handspring step out would be awesome, and then a standing whip would be perfect for you to have. If you have all three of those things, this skill should be super easy for you to do. The first thing you want to look at in the flash kick is how you're jumping off the floor. And I know this is kind of self-explanatory, but if you don't have a good grasp of the prereqs for the skill, it's going to be really hard for you to learn. So breaking it down, the jump, so your extension off the floor should look something like this. You should be here and pushing as hard as you can. So what you want to look for in your jump is an open chest like this, a full extension of your legs, which means that when you jump, you're not like this, your legs aren't tucked, that you're pushing all the way through, and that you feel like you're reaching your maximum height. If you feel like you can jump higher, please do that and please practice that because it'll make the skill a lot easier for you to learn. The hard part about the flash kick is for sure the chest position and driving your toes over. So if you're not sure what leg you're going to kick over with, usually it's your non-dominant leg, but kind of play around wherever it's comfortable for you. So if you're a right foot dominant, it'll be your left leg. If you're left foot dominant, it'll be your right leg that goes over. So make sure you know what leg you're driving over because that's important to be able to kick over into the skill. So know what you're gonna do. That's why having a back handspring step out would be a good idea. Plus, it's pretty much a flash kick just with your hands down. So getting into the middle of the flash kick, coming off the ground, you wanna think when you're jumping, and this is where a lot of people mess up on, you don't just want to throw your head and chest back. There's an order to it that makes it a lot easier. The easiest thing to think about in a flash kick is you want to keep your core and your lower back tight, which is again why having a back handspring step out that's good and long is going to make this skill a lot easier to do because it's literally combining a back tuck with a handspring step out, essentially. So coming off the ground, instead of just kind of throwing and whipping back, you want to think push back through here, just like this angle right here is perfect. Your head should be in with your shoulders, and however you pull your arms back is fine. I always do straight arm because gymnastics, but you can throw through here if you want to. Just make sure you're driving your elbows over and that you're really trying to keep your head in line with your arms, no matter how you're throwing over. So if you throw over like this, just try to keep that head in line. If you throw over with your arms straight, for sure, it'll be easier to see, but you'll keep your head in line that way. Anyway, you'll throw back through here. Your head should be in line with your shoulders, and you want to open up your back and your shoulders right here so you can get that nice tight arch. You don't want to have a giant whip going through it. You want it to be tight. Once you get the skill, you can kind of play with what's comfortable for you in terms of arching your back, but it's a lot easier to do with a tighter arch because when you're going through off the ground here, the tighter this is, the easier it is going to be for you to drive those toes over and pull against it. If you physically don't understand how to pull your feet over, make sure you take a look at the arch that you're doing in the middle of it, know that you're doing it correctly, and understand how to pull that foot up. So what that looks like, so if you're doing a flash kick and you don't have a good arch going through, you kind of just loose with it, that's going to look kind of like this. And it's going to be low, if not impossible for you to do, because you don't have enough power to pull that foot over. You're just kind of getting your chest over and flipping, which, don't get me wrong, is a great progression to do. If anything else, drills and stuff and progressions are awesome, but you'll never ever get a skill unless you actually try it. So regardless of what you take away from this tutorial, try the skill. It's not that hard, I promise. But you see what that looks like right there from a whipping standpoint? You want to make sure that you have a tighter arch like this so you can pull against that. And I know that wasn't the best with my back leg, but you see the difference between the two. With my back positions, it makes it a lot easier if you have something to pull against. And honestly, looking for a small hollow is probably what you want to see in the flash kick. So getting onto the toe drive of it, all you're going to be doing when you come up and off like this, when you're like in the middle of it, is you're going to be kicking that foot over. So for me, my left leg is what drives me all the way under. And like I said, having a good back handspring step out that looks something like this is going to be ideal because the ending, that's really going to teach you the ending. And you don't have to have it on the floor. Trampoline is fine, or tumble track, or wherever you want to do it is fine. But being able to pull that toe underneath you is important because that's how you finish the skill. If you're stopping and if you're landing kind of like this or falling short on the ground with your foot behind you, it's because you're not driving it all the way underneath you. And like when I go up into it, I literally think, kick this foot all the way underneath me until I've landed and stood up. So the big thing to take away from this tutorial, first of all, have the good prerequisites, a standing whip, a back handspring step out, and for sure a good back tuck. Those are like, you have to have the back tuck for sure, but the standing whip and standing handspring step out would be a great thing to practice to help you understand how to pull through more. The whip will help you with that back position, keeping it tight while whipping backwards. And the handspring step out literally teaches what you want to do for the flash kick. And once you have those, you can kind of play around with how you pull and how you kick those legs over, but you want to make sure that you're doing that. And another quick thing, when you're doing the flash kick, you want to make sure, and I've talked about this in my back tuck tutorials as well, so if you need help on your back tuck, my tutorials and tips and trick videos will be in the description down below. But you want to make sure you're kicking through, you don't really hit something with your foot behind you, unless that's your goal. But for learning it, you really don't want that because that's going to slow down your toe drive. You can't pull your toes up fast if they're behind you. You kind of want to have them more in front of you. Even going through the middle, if your legs are bent, you want them bent kind of more through here instead of behind you. So if you leave something behind you, it's gonna drag basically, and it's gonna feel slow. So if it feels slow when you're doing it, make sure you record yourself and take a look at what is like behind you so you know what you need to pull up. And if it's this right here, you need to try to get those toes more in front of you and squeeze your stomach and then your lower back more to get them up faster. But the big things to take, like I said, the big things to take away from it, prereqs, keeping that upper back up and tight instead of just kind of whipping it back and hitting your lower back in an arch, and then really driving that toe over all the way underneath you fast while pulling through. Those are the big things you want to make sure that you're doing when trying this skill. Anyway guys, if you still have any questions about the flash kick or back aerial, make sure to leave a comment down below for me. I'll do my best to answer it. If you have any ideas for different videos or tutorials you want me to do, make sure to drop those in the comments down below as well. I'll do my best to get to those. But if you found this video helpful and you enjoyed it and you want to see more, make sure you leave a like. And if you're not already, click that subscribe button for me and turn those post notes on. Your support would mean a lot. Anyway guys, I'll see you in the next video. Until then, I'm out.